first I just wanted to tell you this story of, what I'm learning. I just find this fascinating, and maybe, you may learn this too. So on Saturday, Louise and I are, say what? On Saturday, Louise and I are watching the Wyoming caucus. And in the reporting on the Wyoming caucus on CNN, as I recall, they were pointing out that in the largest county in Wyoming, which I think is Laramie County, I'd have to go back and look, that the Sanders campaign, Bernie won the Wyoming caucus. Okay, so get that out of the way. But he didn't win by a big enough margin that he got more delegates than Hillary, because he won by 56% rather than, I think 60% was the threshold, where he would get actually more delegates than Hillary Clinton got. And what they were saying on CNN was that the reason for this was that even though many more people showed up to caucus for Bernie in this largest county in Wyoming, the Hillary folks brought with them 600 absentee ballots, or surrogate ballots, they call them, surrogate forms. And I was like scratching my head going, why didn't the Bernie people do that? Apparently the Bernie people had fewer than 100 of them. And I was like, oh, that's odd. And then this account, Knit Magnet, and I say this because I normally don't out people on Twitter on the air here, but what's fascinating is this account has been deleted since apparently this morning, when I pointed this tweet out to David Sirota, of all people. And what the tweet was from the rules for the Wyoming Democratic Party for who can submit a surrogate ballot. And it says, what if I'm unable to attend the county caucus? This is number 7 of wyomingdems.org/frequently-asked-questions, WYODEMS.org. What if I'm unable to attend the county caucuses? If an attendee is unable to attend their county caucus due to religious observance, military service, disability. Now, religious observance is Saturday, so that would be presumably Orthodox Jews. Military service, you're in the military. Disability, you're a disabled person. Illness, you're sick. Work schedule, that's the one where there's a fair amount of flexibility, actually. And student studying abroad. And so I thought, wow, the Clinton people really were efficient at getting out those folks. And so I linked to this tweet that had this list of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the only 6 reasons why you can submit a surrogate ballot. And I said, wow, how did Hillary's campaign end up with so many of these forms? Did the campaign solicit disabled people? I thought that's a reasonable question, because they've got 600 forms from people who are either disabled or sick or religious or working. Now, the working part, again, makes it, maybe there's no there. So anyhow, somebody tweeted back to me saying, you're making this charge based on a single tweet. You should delete your tweet. Now, I should have known I was being set up. You should delete your tweet and do your own research. And I thought, well, that's a reasonable suggestion. So I deleted the tweet and I started doing some research on it. And over the next 24 hours, it was amazing. If you go in and look at my Twitter account, you'll see that there's like dozens, maybe hundreds. I mean, I just absolutely trolled all weekend by this huge number of people. And I thought, wow, Twitter's really, really on fire with this. People seriously pissed off at me, right? Glenna C., the kind of ignorance we've come to expect from Thom Hartmann. He deleted his message. Hillary helped people with our disabled vote. Okay. It's just fun. Do we discriminate against the disabled now? I can't tell the difference between some of you Bernie supporters and the Tea Party. And I mean, some of them, he owes disabled people an apology. Well, actually, we'll get to that one in just a second. So then I found the Hillary for Wyoming email that went out. And it's like, register on Friday, March 25th. If you can't make it, submit your surrogate ballot by Friday, April 1st. And so presumably, if you can't make it, there's nothing wrong with this. And in fact, somebody tweeted to me, hey, it looks like, Hillary's ground game is more organized than Bernie's. Isn't that what you want? Yeah. So, again, if she was doing this against a Republican, I would be applauding it. And I'm not dissing it. I was asking a question. But what fascinated me was this explosion of Twitter hate. And so, curious about that, I started poking around, and I discovered apparently where most of it's coming from. There's a website, HillaryClintonSupporters.com. And I'm going to tweet out right now the link, or at least ask Danielle to push the button. Got it? Cool. Okay, and I shared it with the folks in my chat room a little bit ago. At HillaryClintonSupporters.com, and there's this whole long thread where they take my deleted tweet, and then, I hope he's getting hounded. I hope this makes national news. That was Meteor. And then the administrator says, another person gets a lot of backlash for saying the campaign went to nursing homes. Lots of people did the same thing as was said to Hartmann. In other words, a lot of people are going harassing Hartmann. And then another one, he's getting hounded. He should be. What an insensitive tweet by a Bernie surrogate, which is par for their course. And then this one, he owes disabled people an apology. Will he do it? He won't. He deleted it, so he expects that it will be the last in the public mind. No, that's not why I deleted it. I'm talking about it right now. He also insulted working class people. A large part of the disabled community are from working people who got hurt at work. I'm not laughing about the disabled people. I'm laughing at the faux outrage. I mean, nobody has well, obviously many people have worked harder than me for the rights of disabled people, but I mean, I don't even need to defend myself on this anyhow. They are the walking wounded and don't need someone else piling onto them. Right, as if I'm attacking. Tom was once a big deal for me and brought up relevant issues, but when Hillary started, blah-de-blah. To hell with him. There's not a belief, And it goes on, and it's just amazing. It's like 19 pages of hate over at the HillaryClintonSupporters.com site, and encouraging people to go on Twitter and trash me. I just find this fascinating. I have a thick skin. It doesn't bother me. You can attack me. You can call me names. You can do whatever you want. But, man, I get it that if I was a 17-year-old or somebody who didn't have a thick skin or didn't do this for a living, this would be tough. This is amazing.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
You ever been the victim or the subject of a Twitter or an organized Twitter war? It's absolutely fascinating stuff. And as I have said many times, although I have endorsed Bernie Sanders, I support both Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. I think the Democratic Party is very fortunate to have two good candidates, and the Republican Party is in desperate straits because their two leading candidates are both crazy. So, that said, a whole bunch of people have called in and wanted to weigh in on all this stuff. Susan, watching Free Speech TV on the Dish Network in Casper, Wyoming. Hey, Susan, what's up?
I just wanted to respond to your comments about the letters that were received in Wyoming about the surrogate forms.
Right.
They came directly from Bill Clinton.
Really?
And yes, I've got it right in front of me. And I think it was sent to all Democrats in the state.
Huh. Directly from Bill Clinton. What do you mean by that?
Directly, I'll read it to you. The headline is William J. Clinton. Dear Susan, I am writing to thank you for your impeccable record of voting, blah, blah, blah. There are two ways to stand up for Hillary. Caucus by mail now, or attend your caucus in person.
Does he tell you that you have to be in one of these 6 categories? You have to be active military, you have to be sick, you have to be disabled, you have to have a work schedule that prevents you from showing up in order to be eligible?
Later on in the letter, it says caucus by mail now. And yes, he says if you can't attend a caucus, and then based on those issues.
So those are disclosed in there. Okay. Well, then, there's nothing wrong with that. That's doing your ground game, right?
Well, at the bottom of the letter, it says, P.S., if you want to vote by mail, please return your form today.
Oh, really? Wow.
That's the P.S. And it's signed, sincerely, William J. Clinton.
Huh. we've had 2 other callers from Wyoming, and none of them have received those. So I would guess that those only went out to the Hillary supporters. But
I'm not a Hillary supporter.
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean you're not, caught up in one of those nets. It's, somehow you got on the email list. Although,
and then the caucus surrogate affidavit form is instructed to send right back to the Wyoming Democratic Party.
Right. And
with a prepaid envelope to the Democratic Party, not to the Hillary campaign.
Right. Well, that's because the Democratic Party is running the primaries. So, apparently the Clinton campaign got their act together in this regard, and the Sanders campaign didn't. I mean, the same letter should have gone out from Bernie, don't you think? Or do you think that this is dirty pool?
I think it's dirty pool.
Yeah.
I truly do. I mean, nowhere, he mentions, that you have to fall into one of these categories, but, the emphasis is vote by mail.
Right.
Caucus by mail now.
Wow.
P.S. If you want to vote by mail, please return your form today.
Wow. I would love to see that, but I don't know how to get it from you to me. But this is a tempest in a tea. It's over. The Wyoming primaries are over. So
we had 2/3 to 1/3 in Cheyenne for Bernie,
right.
And they were so excited, and people that never have voted before came out. And do you know how disillusioned they were when they showed up with these affidavits? And
yeah.
I would like the Democratic Party of Wyoming to go through and check every one of those 600 affidavits if actually qualified.
Yeah, that's probably a good suggestion. Susan, thank you for the call.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.